No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory. But
let's be clear, there will be no compulsory vaccination. That's not the way we do things in this country.
But I want to be clear. Nobody will be forced to take this vaccine. I want to repeat, nobody will be forced to take this vaccine.
Today, I'm announcing that we're taking this a step further. It's time to impose requirements on key groups to make sure they're vaccinated.
I should serve notice now that by the end of September, we're planning to make full vaccination the condition of entry to nightclubs and other venues where large crowds gather.
The Department of Veterans Affairs will now require COVID-19 vaccines for doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers.
Proof of a negative test will no longer be enough.
I'm asking the Defense Department to look into how and when they will add COVID-19 to the list of vaccinations the armed forces must get.
If we are talking about mandatory vaccination from the get-go, that sounds a bit draconian.
You say in your article, I have no doubt ethically vaccine mandates are justifiable. You're also saying that it's not a matter of if, more of when.
Next, every federal government employee will be asked to attest to their vaccination status.
Well, it's happening around the world, a trend, an international trend. It is likely to be implemented throughout the world, including South Africa.
It doesn't sound like the kind of thing we do as a constitutional democracy with Section 12 and the rights entailed therein of the Constitution.
There are rights to freedom of, let's talk about, I can say my religion won't allow me to.
Right to freedom, and security.
I have right to bodily integrity as well. What do you say to all of that?
Personal privilege ends where public peril begins.
Our rights are not absolute. Our rights are within the limits of the law and within the interests of the public good as well.
The Justice Department has made it clear that it is legal to require COVID-19 vaccines.
Say it becomes mandatory, then we can expect there to be consequences for those who are refusing to vaccinate.
If people want to drive a car, they need to get a license. If they want to drive a car without a license, there's consequences. They can end up in jail.
We need to therefore understand that personal rights will be limited where necessary.
So yes, there are going to be restrictions that should be imposed on people that choose not to be vaccinated, but those are consequences that comes with making a poor decision.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And to make matters worse, there are elected officials actively working to undermine the fight against COVID-19. And a distinct minority of Americans, supported by a distinct minority of elected officials, are keeping us from turning the corner. These pandemic politics, as I refer to, are making people sick, causing unvaccinated people to die. We cannot allow these actions to stand in the way of protecting the large majority of Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated. I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. And tonight, I'm removing one of the last remaining obstacles that make it difficult for you to get vaccinated. The Department of Labor will require employers with 100 or more workers to give those workers paid time off to get vaccinated. This is not about freedom or personal choice.